And you know, the very first student I ever worked with to prepare him for an interview was from Venezuela. And he was going to describe a time when he didn't get along with a superior. He was going to talk about a time when he spoke out against the government, and the government threatened his employer that if he kept him on staff, they would shut down his business. So this guy had to be let go. I said, yeah, no, I wouldn't use that one. That's not a very positive thing. Many people maybe know about the Venezuelan government. I don't. And if they're not like that here in Canada. So that couldn't happen here, to my knowledge. So anyway, we worked a few times actually, and he ended up getting the job he wanted. Another mistake he made was in his cover letter, he said he's applying for a summer position, 3 months. And then after this summer position's over, I'd like to apply for a full-time job. And I said, no, you can't do that. And he goes, why? And I go, well, what happens if you get there and you hate it? You know, 3 months, I can do 3 months, but to do a lifetime of this, no way. I don't even like the people I'm working with. Mm-mm. Plus, you're asking them for a commitment they can't make at this point because they've never even seen you work. So we revamped that, but he was quite funny. So I said, you know, if it's when you didn't get along with somebody, he's got a girlfriend. Actually, I think they were always husband and wife, those two. So he has her, you know, you have altercations with your husband or your wife, unfortunately. It could be a time when you were in public school or high school and somebody picked a fight with you. Okay, you don't have to say, well, there was this bully. You just have to describe a situation or a circumstance. Okay, I was in this situation. This person decided they were going to create an altercation with me. My response was to, and the result was we went our separate ways.
So I mean, like with my question, I was thinking about in graduate studies where there is like team wrapper, also real world applications or whatever project we're working on.
Mm-hmm.
And more related to thesis like supervisor position, where because like I've heard some of my friends was putting their graduate studies as like a working experience for their new job because they were learning new software that the new job wanted, and that new software is not taught anywhere in the city. So they put their graduate studies as a background experience. So is graduate studies work as a background experience?
Is graduate studies work as a background experience? You would not put on your resume that graduate studies was your work history. Graduate studies is your education.
Yeah.
But when it comes to answering a question about, give me an example of a time when, could be volunteer work, could be real, like paid work, could be work you didn't allow with your supervisor at the university, could be anything, absolutely anything. What they're looking for is behavior, because past behavior is the best predictor of future behavior. So they just want to know how you handled that situation. Supervisor, it's funny, the very first time I heard the word supervisor at university was 6 years ago, and a student came to me, can you help me, I'm having trouble with my supervisor. I immediately went to work mode. I'm like, oh, okay, you're working outside the campus, out of job, and supervisor's giving you a hard time. And then I find out, no. That's what we call our professor that's looking over our graduate studies. Oh, I think you need to go to the ombudsperson, not Julie, I'm career. So that's how that panned out. But it would be the same type of situation when you're answering the question. You could use that as an example, okay? Industry doesn't care if you got paid in the past. What they care about is your behavior at the job that you were doing, whether it was for school, for work, or voluntarily. I get a lot of students thinking their volunteer experience is worthless. You still gathered the skills. That's why you did it, probably. That and to network. So.
Sorry, one quick question again. So when they are asking me general question, what is the maximum time they give me so I go back and search my mind for example, 3 minutes?
And I love it. I had a guy, and I actually saw him yesterday. He was just popped in to say hello. He came to me the very first time. He said, I was at a job fair. I handed my resume into a person. They emailed me and said they want me to do a video interview. I went, oh, okay, this is really interesting. Never heard of it. So he introduced me to the video thing. I researched it a little bit. And the thing is, he did it. But on that video, there was 10 questions, and they forewarned him. They said, we want you dressing as if you're going to a face-to-face interview. You'll be videotaped, and there's 10 questions. And once he got the videotape going, it said, there's 10 questions, and you have 3 minutes to answer each one. I was pretty happy, because that's what I tell them, because I've been on the other side where the person, and they're nervous, they're rambling, and you're like, I didn't ask you anything about that. But stick to the point, sweet and clear and precise and short, 3 minutes. And then I got students saying, well, what if I don't give them all the information they want to know? I say, well, then they'll ask another question, and stick to 3 minutes for that one too. They really, really appreciate it. And how to prepare, so you don't have to go searching through your memory banks, is to have a list of these types of questions, as many as you can possibly consider that they would ask, and write out the answer, okay? Practice it. Tweak it to the 3 minutes. Get rid of the words that are unnecessary, and then deliver it. And they will say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because they've got to do this with many people that don't know that.
You mean before the interview?
Oh yeah. When I get a student saying to me, I've got an interview, can we meet? When's your interview? Thursday, this is Monday. Okay, I want you in tonight, and I want you in Wednesday night. I want you in Thursday morning if it doesn't go well, Wednesday night. Okay, I can get here as early as 7 o'clock. Can you? If your interview's at 10, when's your interview? What time? I got to know all this stuff because I want you performing to the best that you possibly can. And I will listen to your answers and say, how about if you changed it to this? Or say, that's perfect, you've got it, right? And usually it's perfect after they've done this. Mm-hmm.
How about telephone?
Telephone interview isn't going to be very long generally. If they want a long telephone interview, I would say it's going to be Skype. Dress for it. If it's a telephone, there's probably going to be maybe top, I'd say 5 questions. It's just a screening process. And it's the lowest person on the pole doing that telephone interview. Okay, so somebody low in HR. Just to see if it's worthy to get you in.